Annie Besant, born on 1st October 1847 in UK, 100 years before India got its independence. She passed away on 20th September 1933 in Adyar, Chennai in India. She couldn't get a chance to see India's freedom. She fought for and supported the home rule for a very long time. The famous Annie Besant, the teacher and the great supporter of Jiddu Krishnamurti, J. Krishnamurti. She wanted to make Jiddu Krishnamurti the next Messiah of the world. Such was the influence of Annie Besant in India. Annie Besant said the destruction of India's village system was the greatest of England's blunder. Annie Besant was a British socialist, theosophist, women's rights activist, writer, orator, educationist, and philanthropist. An author with over 300 books, she was the founder of the Benares Hindu University and a great lover of the India's tradition and its values. Annie Besant said the destruction of India's village system was the greatest of England's blunder. And all my 100 stories, this is my 101st short discourse. All my 100 discourse, I was only pinpointing on the destruction of the joint family system and the family tree that has made India to live in poverty and in utter fear and building up a lot of diseases, psychological problems in the country. If such is the situation, without a single shot being fired, the country can be taken over. Love is totally destroyed. The deep, intimate relationship with the family system, with the land, is gone. That was my fight for the 100 short discourse. And today, when I checked Annie Besant, I was shocked. Annie Besant said this long back: the destruction of India's village system was the greatest of England's blunder. I thought it was the greed of the villagers which ran to the cities and got destroyed. Now I knew there was an invader who participated in the destruction of the village system. That to develop that industries in the cities, they must have done that. But then, is it not our duty to hold on? But I think it must be a small destruction. It must be a small destruction because if you look at the tradition, look at the history, 600 years the Muslims ruled India. They were the foreigners, they were the invaders. They plundered, looted, yes, and nothing happened. They could convert only 10% of the total population. And then the French, the Dutch, the Britishers, the Portuguese, they came in. They ruled India for 200 years. They couldn't break the culture. The culture was deep down. And what they converted was just 2%. The 2% is still with us, and the 10% converted people are still with us. They call themselves Indians, yes. Deeply rooted in the Indian tradition, the love, the system, which you don't find in other countries. The same culture they are following. Only thing, they just change the name to Muslim or Christian or something. But basically, they're all deeply rooted in the Indian tradition. Such was the love, such was the beauty of the tradition of India. Even many persons felt it. The destruction of India's village system. I think there was not much of destruction happen in the Indian village system. We can still rectify it up because now another one invader came and he has given us that opportunity. The previous invaders, 600 years, 200 years, we have been calling. And after that, the new rich Indians, they destroyed for the last 70 years. Now a new invader came to India, and I think we should now stitch it back. That new invader's name is called the Knit India. Gandhi said, quit India for the Britishers. Now it is called the Knit India, not the Baba Amte. It's the Knit India. This is a new Knit India. His name is Corona. Corona has come. It's all people running out from the cities, rushing up to the villages. I'm now in a village. I'm sitting around, I'm seeing all around my ashram. The city people are coming and bringing the tractor and they're digging and they're putting ragi, they're growing ragi. They suddenly became villages. Knit India, Namaskara Corona for the great love you have done to our country. Now it is our duty to knit it back. Please, not only the land, go back to the joint family system. And then we build up the rainwater harvesting. They knew the rainwater harvesting, but the drip irrigation came from Israel, so we can drip it up, and so that from the drip irrigation we can make grey water harvesting, the black water harvesting, the check dams. Check dams were there with us. Then the sunlight, the solar. Most of the Indian villages are not taken to solar because they don't need light. Because after the sunset, we wanted to be in our dark, and the darkness is a light, and a new light. We see to sky. The eye moves to the sky to see the beautiful sky, the stars. And when we have the light, we forget to look into that. That can be the reason the solar we are not taking it. But nevertheless, this Knit India, which the Corona has brought it, any person could have been shocked. Somebody tried to destroy, but then another thing came. The whole cities, the whole India, whole world is in a shock. But quite a lot of now Indian people are moving to the villages to stabilize it up. The destruction of India's village system was the greatest of England's blunder. There was no blunder. For England, it was not a blunder. For any person, it was a blunder. Because any person felt such a beautiful tradition. Why? How could they destroy it up? This tradition, even if the England or Britishers live for another 1,000 years or another 10,000 years, they will not see that kind of a love. Can you believe? Can you believe? I always used to tell my children, I went around the world, anywhere in the world, I had never seen the tradition as beautiful as our Indian tradition. The way the women take care of us at the house, they are real goddess. Any person must have felt that one. That is the real love, the grandfather's love, the grandmother's love, the parents' love. The destruction of India's village system was the greatest of England's blunder. Somebody did the blunder, but they couldn't destroy it up. The seed was so deep down in our village system that we could stand tall. We never wanted to fight. This is called Zen in the art of fighting without fighting. Everybody comes, they take, but they couldn't take anything. They came, they took, but they didn't take anything. They themselves got destroyed. Such is the power of India. So many invaders came. Now it is our duty to make sure the destruction of India's village system. Village is very important, that system. That same system we can carry it back to our cities also. In the daytime, like the Japanese, they go to the big offices, they wear the same dress, sit on the chair, dining table. When they come home, they sit on the floor mat, yes, and they have the traditional food, yes. The tradition is to be maintained. The tradition of the love, the respect. That was the village system was destroyed. He was telling the children never talk back. They only listen. From the listening, they can penetrate deeper for a bigger change. Yes, they can change it in much bigger. Now, of course, the cities have given a lot of beautiful ideas, a lot of good education to see what is happening in the world. So the tradition, if it is stabilized, the other system can grow because the tradition gives you a lot of love. With the love, a lot of physical and mental problems can be sorted out. A lot of divorce can be sorted out. India doesn't know about a divorce. Neither India knew about a rape. I heard recently the Vietnamese and the Cambodian people and telling, what is this rape you're talking in India? We do not know what is rape. It's a way of life, and love is a way of life. Who will rape who? What? They were telling, we have been destroyed because of so much of city thinking. Yes, we got deeply involved, and when the joint family system has been broken, we started looking this side and that side. That wavering mind, yes, must have destroyed our culture. We stitch it back. There's a good chance. The Corona came, what Annie Besant said is the destruction of India's village system was the greatest of England's blunder. Nobody can do a blunder, but if some of us got trapped, come back and stitch it back. This is my 101st short discourse. God bless you.